Hello and welcome to another edition of the Kalea Beer Advent Calendar, the Brewers Advent Calendar, live from Salzburg. It's 6 p.m. here in Salzburg. It's on the East Coast, I think it's noon, and on the West Coast, it's 9 a.m. It's the perfect time for a beer, and you have the Brewers Advent Calendar at home. I hope you have them chilled in your fridge, and we are ready to taste the beer with you. Today it's day 11, and that means it's only 14 days, just 2 more weeks until Christmas Eve, and we'll check out what beer we have today. And I open the door for you. This is the difficult part for me, and it's, I'm getting the can out, and it's a beer. It's Marie Hausbrendel from Schwarzbräu from Bavaria, and I know that there is a very, very good story about this beer, about this person that is on the label. We will tell you lots of facts about the beer later on, but we not only have Marie on the can, on the label, we have, normally we have Claudio or Claudia, but tonight there's Marie on the cloud above. Hello, Marie. Marie is here for you to pass on all your questions that might arise about the beer, about the brewery, about the people that are going to be sitting on the couch with me. I'm really curious what those questions might be like. We will be more than happy to answer the questions to you. Just write them down in the chat on YouTube, on beertasting.com, on Facebook, wherever you are watching us. You feel free to ask all the questions, and as I said, we will be happy to answer them for you. Of course, I have some guests tonight, and they're still waiting outside at the campfire. They're drinking some mulled wine, but I'm going to release them from the mulled wine, and we're going to have some good beer inside, and yeah, let them in. Dann kommt's aber rein. Okay. Yeah, have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
May I introduce you my guests? It's Martin and Jürgen. They are actually not from the brewery itself, but they are from a brewery which is very close to the brewery Schwarzbräu that we are having today. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about the area that the brewery is in. Which part of Bavaria are we talking about tonight?
Okay, greetings to the US. So from the area we are located is between Munich and Stuttgart, so it's really in the south of German, South Bavaria. We talk it Swabian. That means it's a part of Bavaria, but at least we are all here in the more or less in the middle of South Germany. And what Martin said was that we are really proud to present the beer from at least for us, for a small brewery, both family-owned for a competitor, because our 2 breweries, we are located a little bit more in the west, means we have 40 kilometers in between, let me say 25 miles roundabout. And so we are in the market. Sometimes we are clashing together. That means we are really competitive, but we know the strong side of each brewery, and therefore it's nice to present also this typical Swabian, or let me say Bavarian lager, right?
Yeah, of course. And is this region, is it a Bavaria, of course, is a beer drinking area in its whole, but the area that you're coming from, because there are wine areas as well. So is it rather a beer drinking area, or is it, so yeah.
I'm sure
yeah.
beer drinking
so,
area,
okay.
Right. Yeah.
And which beer styles are quite popular in that area? Is it, as most of Bavaria, is it the Helles?
It's for the moment, yes, it's Helles,
yes.
yeah. But we are, let me say, also popular for South German wheat beer. So it's for Munich, for the summertime. The wheat beer is really a good partner for the, let's say, easy drinking in the summer when it's warm outside and so on, or in the beer gardens. But for the moment, we see that the trends going to the lager or to the hell. Yeah.
And I think this is something that you also can notice in the US, that after the first wave of craft beer with the IPAs, the hoppy beers is more or less over. They're still around, of course, and they're really good, but a lot of breweries go back to the roots of brewing, and they start brewing lager beers. So they're becoming more and more popular again all over the world. Before we do more talking, we got to start drinking, or at least pouring the beer. We have the cans that you have, and I pour the beer for you. And I think we can expect a nice golden beer. And there's a lot of history about this brewery. The roots go back to the year 1648, and it's connected to the end of the 30 Years' War. And I don't know if
it's not shown on the can, but let me say, if you go to the homepage and so on, you see that the history. We had this war in, let me say, South Germany, more or less all over Europe, between 1618 and 1648. And after that, the brewery founded in Zussmarshausen. It's the small city called Zussmarshausen. And for the brewery, I think we should take the first.
Yeah, but just look at the color of the beer. It's a nice light golden color, perfect white foam, compact on top, lots of carbonation visible in the glass. So yeah, what else can you expect from a Helles? It's really, from the visible point of view, you're really nailing the style. So cheers. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, it's a really nice one. Yeah, and at that time, when the brewery was there at 1648, there's a soldier carrying a flag on the logo, and I was told that it's maybe a Swedish soldier, because when the war was over, Swedish troops invaded the brewery and drank all the beer. And,
some story about that, right?
And I guess it's pretty much the same when you have Swedish people coming to Europe and they see a brewery, they invade the brewery and drink all the beer.
Yeah,
so
it's I think the normal way.
But again, maybe your grandfather might know this brewery because there's another story with another war. And again, in the brewery, at the end of World War II, American troops were taking over this brewery, and this brewery was brewing for the American troops after the Second World War. So, maybe your grandfather was a soldier in Germany, and he asked him about Schwarzbräu. Maybe he had already a beer from them. So, and it's interesting that this brewery is one out of 6 remaining breweries in Bavaria that still malt them themselves. Is it really quite unique that breweries malt themselves?
It's really complicated to find a brewery which has its own maltery plant and brewery plant, of course. And it's difficult because in the brewery we work for, Autenrieder, is also that we have our own fields with the own growing grains and so on. So we do also a lot of stuff like this by our own. And for Schwarzbräu, it's really that they have their own maltery specialist, the own maltery plant. And I heard it's really roughly, but they do between 30 and 50% of the malt by their own. So you have completely your raw materials, not from the hop side, but from the malt side, really in your own hands. And you can prepare your malt, your grain, everything you need for the color, for the, let me say, this little malty taste, and also just the the special hell smell in your nose. Yeah, you can really create the first step by your own, and I think this is a really important thing, that you be one of the better ones. Yeah, because otherwise you have to take what you get, and therefore I think it's an advantage.
Before we continue talking about the beer, I want to encourage everybody of you to post your comments, your feedback about the stream, your comments about the beer, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. What are your thoughts about what we are doing here? Just post them wherever you're watching us, on YouTube, Facebook, or on the BeerTasting Club page, and we will reward you for your comments. We just sent 6 of those glasses to one person each night. So if you want to have an exclusive Austrian beer tasting glass and want to impress your beer friends with 6 of those glasses, just post your comments and we will pick one of the heavy posters under every video each night. Yesterday, it's the user is called Candy Barco. So Candy Barco, if you're watching, we need your contact details. So please write an email at info@beertasting.club. So Candy Barco is asked to write an email at info@beertasting.club so we can send you 6 of these beautiful glasses. And if you want to do it like Candy Barco, you have to comment, share your thoughts with us, share your thoughts about the beer. And let's talk about the taste of the beer. It's really a nice, proper Helles. It has this grainy start. It's rather dry, but it's also, in my opinion, it's thirst quenching. It's a beer that you probably can enjoy in the morning, in the evening,
for the yes people.
And we have Marie ringing the bell, and there's a comment from the cloud. Marie, what can we do for you?
We have a question. How many weeks does it take to brew this style of beer?
Okay. So we're getting into specific details. You can't talk about this specific beer, but a Helles, how long does it normally take from mashing in the brewing process until it can get poured?
So we get around about 4 weeks from the day of brewing until the first step, the fermentation, or let me say the first day in the brew house, of course. And second step, the fermentation needs around about 1 week. So what I know from the brewery is, let's say, you have this really slow and cold first fermentation, around about between 9 and 11 degrees, I guess. And afterwards, we have a storage time from 3 to nearly 4 weeks, and then you can do canning, or for the German or South German market, bottling.
Yeah, but as again, this beer normally is not available in cans. You are very privileged to get this beer in cans for the first time, as I said yesterday, and all my colleagues mentioned that. We try to serve you the best quality possible, and as this beer has to be filled, shipped, and brought to your local store, cans are obviously the best choice and the most economic way. And it's, of course, the best quality-saving packaging that we can get on the market right now. And this is why Kalea always puts a lot of effort in canning beers that normally are not canned. Getting back to the beer, what do you think about the bitterness and the hops? Because for me, it's not very, very bitter. It's rather beer on the malty side, but the bitterness and the hop profile is not too much sticking out on this beer.
This is what Helles normally had to do or has to do. That means you don't have some particular part really strong in the beer, not too much sweetness, not too crunchy, not empty, of course.
Yeah.
And also from the hop side, you have the hops for the let me say, for a decent level, to have everything leveled, the sweetness, hopness and everything together, but nothing is in the front. It is the difficult part for brewing Helles, because if you know from craft breweries, so you build a body in the brew house, malty alcohol, something like that, like IPAs, and then you crush with the hop really on the top of the beer. And for Helles, it's really not the part of the thing. So for Helles, you have from everything a bit, but from nothing too much. That means everything leveled. And the good thing of a good Helles is easy to explain. If you smell and taste and drink the first 1-2 steps, and after 10, 12, 15, 20 seconds, you think, okay, I think I take the next step and the next drink.
So it's not only easy drinking, but it's also fast drinking.
It's fast drinking. It's not even easy drinking, because also in the part of all the Helles we have in South Germany, so we have different ones. You have really that ones, they are more on the hop side, so more on the sweet side. So you have this small, let me say, snake between all the Helles. But if you are really straight in the middle on a high level, so this is nice. Really, really good.
I almost forgot to tell you something that mentioned earlier before. We have to talk about Maria, the story of Maria Hausbrendel, which gave her name to this beer. And it's a coincidence that you are actually competing brewers to Schwarzbräu, because Maria Hausbrendel was the daughter of a competing brewery to Schwarzbräu as well. She was from the city of Augsburg, and she was really, really well known all over the area. She had an, I think, older sister, and a postman told Konrad Schwarz, who was the owner of Schwarzbräu at that time, that there's a very, very beautiful brewer's daughter some miles away. And he went straight to the brew pub where she was working as a waitress, and she was handling even the grumpiest drinkers in the brewery. So she was really, really well known. But at that time, she was out delivering beer, and he saw her sister, her older sister, and he returned back to the postman and said, "Hey, what story did you tell me? This is not the most beautiful girl that you promised me." And I said, "You idiot. At that time, Marie is delivering beer. So go for a second time." And he went again to the brewery, Hausbrendel. And Maria was a very hands-on person. And he entered the brew pub. And the story is that she was changing a bulb at the time. And Konrad jumped on the table, helping her changing that bulb. They looked into each other's eyes and fell in love on the spot. And Maria was no longer a waitress at her father's brewery. She went to Zusmarshausen, where Schwarzbräu is located, together with Konrad. They married, got children, and now we have her on the can. Leopold Schwarz, who's running the brewery in 5th generation, it's his grandmother. So he's honoring his grandmother, and as I have the impression, it's a nice brewer's fairy tale from Bavaria, but it's a good story. Even it's not maybe 100% right what I said, but we have a tiny little cute film on this story. Unfortunately, it's in German, but I will ask our director to show you this film, because you can see Konrad and Maria falling in love, and maybe you learned a little bit German at school and you understand some of the words.
Der junge Braumeister Konrad Schwarz hatte gerade seine Meisterprüfung bestanden und fand irgendwie nicht die richtige Frau fürs Leben. Sein Freund, der Posthalter, riet ihm, in die Jakober-Vorstadt zu fahren. Der Brauer Fritz Hausbrendel hätte 2 hübsche Töchter. Konrad machte sich auf den Weg und suchte seine Traumfrau. Er fand dort tatsächlich seine Marie und sie verliebten sich über beide Ohren. So läuteten am 1. August die Hochzeitsglocken. Sie gründeten alsbald eine große Familie und Marie wurde die beliebte Wirtin im Schwarzbräu-Bräustüberl. Nun hat ihr Enkel Leopold Schwarz seiner Großmutter ein eigenes Bier gewidmet. Marie Hausbrendel Hell. Typisch bayerisch, typisch hell.
So this was the story, the short story of Maria Hausbrendel. So a lot of history, not only with the brewery, but also with Maria. And whilst this video was running, I heard the bell ringing from Marie. And there's a question from the audience. Marie, what can we answer for the audience?
They want to know where you come from, Jürgen and Martin.
So,
From which brewery?
It's normal to ask, right?
So, of course, you're not from Schwarzbräu, and we said it's a competing brewery, but we can name your brewery. Which is it?
So it's the Schlossbrauerei out in Ried. It's, let me say, a small village, maybe 500-600 people living there, and a big brewery in the middle. Big brewery means for us, we are really small for the US market, so really also family owned, like Konrad Schwarz in Zusmarshausen. Our boss is calling Rudolf Feuchtmeier. That means it's all in the hand of one family. So the important thing is you have really short wait for decisions. Maybe it's the wrong decision, but it is a decision, right? And for that, we are brewing in the same area. We're delivering the people in the same area. Therefore, we are a competitor. But I think in both eyes, the brewery has a good standing, and we're all clashing not against each other.
Yeah.
We are clashing against the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal in the private way of a brewery, a small brewery.
And there's a good news for families maybe visiting this area, not only going to Schwarzbräu, maybe also going to Schlossbräu Altenried. There's Legoland Germany around. So you can go to Legoland, drop your children, leave them there with lots of money, and mommy and daddy can go to the brewery, check out some beers, and pick up your children in the afternoon, and they will having lots of fun in Legoland, Germany. So if you want to check out the area, maybe you find Legoland, Germany easier on the internet. It's pretty close to those breweries. Yeah. As I said, we want to encourage you sending us pictures also. Where are you drinking our beers? What are you doing whilst drinking the beers? I know it's pretty early on the West Coast, noon on the East Coast, but are you sitting on your balcony? Is it snowing back home? Or are you at the seaside under a palm tree? Send us your pictures, maybe together with the beer can, and we'll be more than happy to see your pictures. We have some pictures from yesterday that were sent in. You can send them in via Facebook or use the email address info@beertasting.club. So use info@beertasting.club for your pictures drinking the beer, and our director will show you some of the pictures that you sent in yesterday, showing you where you're drinking. And I see people sitting in front of, I think it's an oven or something like that. So enjoy the pictures. Oh, that's the owl. Okay. And we have the calendar with Christmas decoration. So you're all in, lots of owls on the live stream. Yeah, chimney, prepared for Santa Claus. So everybody's in Christmas mood. That's really, really nice. So I think if there are not any more questions that can be answered, coincidence. Marie is calling again. Marie.
The guys want to know, do you know how many staff the brewery have?
Yes. This is one piece of information I picked up at the internet. Schwarzbräu has 85 employees in total. So I think this includes brewing, administration, logistics, which is quite a nice mid-sized brewery. But I think the breweries in Bavaria, those smaller and mid-sized breweries, they all serve their local community. So they do not export too much. They're not shipping the beer to the northern part of Germany. They're very the consumers are very local to the breweries, right? Yeah. So let me look on my cheat sheet if I have any more information that I missed? Yeah, the brewery is part of the members of the Independent Brewers in Germany, which is an organization which is pretty much like the Brewers Association in the US, which takes care of independent brewers and try to push the independent brewers on the market, which is, I think, a nice thing to know as well for you. We're hitting 25 minutes. I hope everybody is fine, happy with the beer. Tomorrow, my colleague Mareike will take over, and I hope you tune in again. We have another great beer from a German or Austrian brewery. Nobody knows yet, but we'll find out tomorrow behind door number 12. And I thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for talking about your competitors' beers. I think the competition is not too hard. You like each other. I feel that. And it's a really, really nice beer. I hope you enjoyed it, and wish you a good morning, a good lunch, or a good afternoon, wherever you're watching us. And tune in again tomorrow. See you, and bye-bye. Cheers.
Cheers.